Okay, so I'm going to try quickly. Second series and Ashtanga and relating it to the second chapter of the Devi Mahatmyam. And first of all, if I was saying that the meditation for Mahakali of primary series is the half-bound lotus and Tirya Mukha Hekapada one. So the kind of corresponding, the meditation in the second episode, which is for Mahalakshmi, would be Pashasana and then Kranchasana. So that kind of opens the episode, and then I kind of feel like there's, so the two battles, first of all, I think then after the meditation, I think that the dhyanam, those two postures, then we end up on our belly in the shalabhasana, and I think that shalabhasana represents going in a layer into the person, just like a locust, like taking off a shell, like we're kind of going from the physical body into the energetic body, and then that whole set of bow postures does seem to be like indicative of, battling. And then you get to the kneeling postures and that final, the Kapotasana posture, where you really have to like bring your lower self way forward and then your upper self, all the way backwards, and then you're like connecting your hands to your feet again. So kind of if this part of us represents like our higher self from here up, and our hands are and that this part is our lower self, we're going through, we're like defeating all of our lower self attractions and aversions, passion and anger and these things, and in bringing this upper part still even back to get your feet, it's like, okay, I've got control of my lower self, or that's the battle is to try to keep control of your lower self. This kind of seems to me like, that is definitely like one of the chapters, or maybe that's where both of the battles are, because then I know that the second episode of the Mahatmyam, the hymn part of it, is the longest hymn of the whole Mahatmyam. And so it could be that then we end that chapter and we have the gomukasana and the twists, and there are birds in birds tell some of the story of the Markandeya Purana, which is kind of interesting because in the Ashtanga sequences, there's a lot of birds, and so anyway, you got your Supta Vajrasana and then your Bakasanas and the twists, and then it seems to me like that the leg behind the head, that part is kind of symbolic of, so what happens with this Mahisha Asura, he's able to change forms, and so he is a buffalo at one point and changes a couple of times, and she steps on his neck and forces out the torso of the man and then cuts his head off. That's how she defeats him. And so that to me kind of always reminds me, those leg behind the head, it looks like a scimitar. That was her weapon, right? And that's talked about a lot in the Mahatmyam, that weapon, the scimitar. So you've got your bows and you've got your scimitar, and then there's kind of a reference again to Yoga Nidra, because of the lying down part, the two legs behind the head lying down. which I'm not, I don't know how that fits, other than that, it's part of the first story, that then it shows up here. I think maybe it's kind of like we're going back to the beginning of the story in the Devi Mahatmyam of the second episode, which is that Mahishasura had overtaken all of the gods' positions, right? And so, just like even showing that yoga nidra, the sleeping reclined position, that all the gods had been divested of their jobs by this Mahishasura. He had, bad intentions had taken over. So I think that's maybe what that is. And then all of the Titibhasana part, I really feel like that builds up a lot of strength and a lot of heat from the lower part of your body. Like your quadriceps really have to work really hard. All your lower body really has to work very hard in that whole Titibhasana sequence. And that being named after the firefly, the light, that reminds me of when all the Devi, all the gods approached the three of the big Trinity and were like, look, what do we do about this Mahishasura guy? And they all became angry and put all their lights together, all of their Shaktis together. So that Titibhasana part reminds me of that part. And then when you get to Mayurasana and Karandavasana, and then to Vrishikasana, which was in the old way you did that. Vrishikasana looks like Kapotasana, so it looks again like we're taking our lower half and learning to control it with our upper half. Karandavasana, you have to do that too. You really learn to control your lower self there too. But that part, so those forearm balances, is again that same story of defeating, gaining control of your lower self, the ego, with your higher self. And then I know that Nakrasana, the crocodile, is a symbol. For some reason, the animal, the crocodile, is the animal symbol of the Swadhisthana chakra, so the one that's down behind the pubic bone. And so that would kind of make sense, if he's part of that song, And then the very end, Vatayanasana, I think that has something to do with Hayagriva. And I just do because Hayagriva is the horse-faced, it's like a sage, and I think there are some stories that he is actually an incarnation of Vishnu as well. And so I think then you've got, symbolically kind of honoring Hayagriva, maybe praying that, to be like Hayagriva, and Parigasana through restraint, which is the next one. Parigasana comes next. Through restraint, to become a vessel of divinity. And the gomukasana, I think, represents the vessel of divinity. So that very last three postures is that you're praying that through restraint of the ego, you'll become a vessel of divinity. And that's where the second series ends.